Well, welcome to my page, you guys. This is a labor of love. This is Wild Preacher's Kid podcast. Here we talk about life, love, family, faith, and health. Like we talk about a little bit of everything on here, but this podcast was made out of love. I just want to encourage people. That's the sole purpose of this podcast, to encourage people to keep being wild for God and to keep going. There's so many challenging things out there, but I want to encourage you to stay locked in and loaded. Welcome to another episode of Wild Preacher's Kids. Did you guys miss me? I know you did. I know you missed me. I know you did. I missed you guys as well. This has been so amazing. I want to say already, thank you for the support that I've seen in these last 2 weeks, you guys. Y'all came back. Ready for you, girl. I thought I was gonna have to be like, oh, I hope they remember me. No, y'all have been waiting. I kept hearing so much good things from the last two episodes, and I am so thankful to have you a part of what it is that I'm doing. I genuinely feel like this is a blessing in disguise, not just for myself, but for people who are watching as well. So thank you. Just a couple of announcements. The shop is open. Get your Wild Preachers Kid gear. Um, and it just supports what I'm doing. It supports how I'm doing this ministry because I'm doing this full time now. I'm locked and loaded, and I want this to be amazing. Or you could donate as well to us. You can click the link in my bio, and there is a donate button. I promise you, all of it goes towards me doing this full time and help me evolve this. Like, I want to be able to take this to the next level. So my goal from now until the end of this year is to run. I'm giving myself 6 months to do this. So I appreciate you. I thank you. I thank you for this. I feel the love. Do you feel the love? I feel the love. So let's dive right in. So we talked about what was happening that led to me taking a break, right? We talked about why I didn't go back to my home church. So now we're going to talk about what happened in my personal life with my mother. And I'm going to do this the best way I can. Like, I'm team be vulnerable, be transparent. And the PKME wants to completely protect the image that I have of her. Like, I don't want anything negative to come from it. But this, I'll say, trigger warning, this may be a tough listen to. It may be hard for you to deal with this. So at the end, at the end of the conference last year, I was in a very heavy state because I'm trying to minister to my husband while he's dealing with a difficult moment of being wrongfully terminated. And I told a couple of people, like, you don't, when you go through these types of moments, you don't really tell a lot of people what you're going through. Like, they found out maybe 2 weeks after he lost his job because we weren't sure. um there are some options or whatever that happened, and they said they would send it to us, and then once we found out what the options were, it's like it was what it was. They weren't going to allow him to come back, because the situation was that the manager that they had, God bless him, but it's like once a manager does something wrong, they try their best to protect them. So that's what was happening, and there was no going back. So I let my parents know. I let my parents know via text, and I talked to my father and my dad. And I love my parents. I want to start with that as well, but they are not the most emotional parents, right? It's a in the nicest way, they do the best that they can with what was given to them in their own development. And because I'm aware of that, and I'm a millennial, like there's levels of grace and mercy. So I have grown up knowing that over the years, in my adult years, that I am the least liked child. I am aware of that. I do believe it's because I am the most of the kids. I am the most like them. Like when it comes to, I have a no nonsense filter. I get that from my dad. And then the brutally honest version, I get that from my mother. And I have evolved because I want to say this because I don't want anybody to think I'm just blaming them for everything. But like I have evolved into an individual that sees her parents as people because of how they treated her. They are my parents because that's who they are. That's the title that they hold. But as time has gone on, I genuinely view them as people. Like, I know my dad's gonna make mistakes. I know my mom's gonna make mistakes. I know that the type of upbringing that they had, their backstory, did not cultivate the type of parental environment that I possibly needed. And it was a struggle once growing up that we couldn't pivot into a relationship that went from parental to mentor. I do think that once your kids get to a certain age, it's not it's not you as a parent telling them what to do anymore. It's more being a guide, being an aid, encouraging them, being the mentor where it's like, oh, I don't know what to do with this. Can you help me with this? Like stuff like that or whatever. And I genuinely believe that they didn't have the best parental guidance as well. Like, my parents were young having kids. So like their kids they're young adults learning to be adults while having children. It's like we know what it's like. But now in this day and age, I think that what I've come to an agreement about when it comes to my relationship with my mother is that I can say it this way, but I don't think my mama liked me. Like I I I think, and that's a really like black and white way of looking at it. I'm just being honest with myself and with you, but I do think that there's moments where she just doesn't like me. And I think the first time that I realized that I went to, I think it was like 2018. It had to be 2018 when we did Woman Thou Art Loose in Dallas because I was pregnant with my first baby before I miscarried. And it was this it was this night. It was the last night of the conference. We were in the hotel. It's me, my sister's friend, and my mom. And we're sitting there and we were talking. And my mom was she has a tendency to pick on me. Like I hate to pause as much as I'm doing, but like I really do think that it's something about me she does it just doesn't sit well with her. And I remember what the conversation was, and it was stupid. Like it was something stupid, but she wouldn't let it go like she kept bringing it up. She kept bringing it up. Like when we went, like a whole church, like a women's ministry, we all went together. We flew out there. We had the shuttle buses and all that stuff. Like we're doing all the things. I'm helping them drive, and like I'm trying to be a good daughter and a good PK in this moment by waking up extra early, knocking on people's doors. Like I turned into event coordinator at this event, and I'm thinking like, okay, you know, I'm running around and doing stuff. And what I learned at the end of that night, she just kept telling like my personal business, but it wasn't like, oh, you know how moms do, like they try to embarrass you like a little bit. They'd be like, oh, such and such was over here doing such and such. Like that. It was like she was complaining about me. And like I can't sleep in a room with her. And like she's not just like, it'd be different if she just said it to me and my sister. She's telling like the other ladies on this trip. And I'm like, why? Why are you doing that? Like I felt so embarrassed. And I talked to her that night and I was like, Mom, why are you doing that? Like I feel like you're trying to embarrass me. Cause it was like over snoring or whatever, right? But it's like, you know, if you've ever done like a full on conference and it's like a team of women, it's the most exhausting experience you could ever have in your life because they got sessions as early as 9 a.m. So that means you got to get up at least by 6 to be out the door by 7 so you could drive to where you need to be at by 7:30, 8 o'clock, so you can at least, you know, if you don't have like preferential seats and preferred seating and stuff like that, you just, you know, you find your seats and stuff like that. Then it's like, okay, bathroom trip, go eat and do this. Like it's a whole day of just going. So I guess, you know, she felt like she couldn't get no good sleep because of me. But it's like she just was complaining over and over and over. And I was like, why would you try to embarrass me? I was like, you're my mom. You're not supposed to like protect me. I said, when you do stuff like this, it makes me feel like you don't like me as a person. And I was like, and it hurts my feelings. And when I said the room got quiet, child, that room was so quiet. And I was like, Mom, do you not like me? And she was still quiet. She didn't say nothing. Bruh, I ain't gonna lie, bruh. Y'all know I cry, but I boohoo cried that night. Like tears would not stop falling. I cried so much that night. I probably didn't sleep. I probably slept an hour that night because it was like I had, how my mama not like me? Like, and she didn't even try to like, no, baby, no. She didn't go, no, baby, no. I love you. I do like you. Sometimes you just get on my nerves. Like I could have handled almost anything she would have said, but that dead silence. And I think my sister and her friend, God bless them, like they stumbled into that conversation because they had a room next door and they popped in. And when they popped in, we were just we were just talking. And I was like, yeah, mom just kept trying to like, she was just complaining about me snoring, and you know, it was like she's just telling everybody, and it was like, you know, I was like, shoot, like I don't understand. And I was like, and I'm telling her like, Mom, don't do that. Like throughout the day, I'm like, Mom, why are you still talking about this? Like, let it go. And it's like, it just bothered me. And she, they were like, whoa, like they knew something had happened. They knew something was wrong. And I think it sat with me. It sat with me. The next day we were going to the last session. They normally do a session that Friday night, and then Saturday morning they do a session in the morning. And then I think we chose to stay to go to church in Dallas at the Potter's house that Sunday. So this is Saturday night, right? We then did 3 days of full activities. I'm tired and I was pregnant and it was my first pregnancy, and I'm, you know, and maybe I was overly emotional. I might have been, but I distinctly remember just like shutting down, and I was like, oh. And I'll be honest with you, anything else that was said after that, I didn't hear none of it. Like my sister was like, God bless her. She was the unofficial mediator in that situation. Cause I had checked out. My mind was blown. And it's like I was like, I don't woke up old 40 plus, 50 plus women to I'm knocking on doors. Like you still in the bed sleep and I'm knocking on doors trying to be the morning call and check on everybody and say, hey, make sure you get up. Breakfast is at such and such. And then, like I'm driving this van in a city I ain't never drove in before. I'm making sure we all together. I'm sending out text messages. We got a group text amongst just like I'm doing all these things trying to make this trip as pleasant as possible. And I think I was 4 months pregnant. I was exhausted. And it's like, I just feel like you're bullying me. I feel like you're just making fun of me because you just don't have anything else to say. And it's like, she was like, well, I mean, it's true though. I was like, I was not prepared for that. And I think that was the moment I was like, I have to change the way I view my relationship with my mother. Now, mind you, we have had conversations since then. I mean, that was a long time ago, 2018. That was almost 10 years ago, right? Um, and I thought it was reconciliation because it was like, you have your apologies and you share and stuff like that. But I think that moment showed me that my mom had had a gap between me and her. Like I didn't know there was a gap. I think that moment revealed to me that there was one. And I stewed on that for a long time because I was like, why? I do think in the grand scheme of things, I do think that and this is just my opinion, I do think that she struggles with making friends with women, like as a whole. That is a thing. But, it's like as my mom, and it was so hurtful. So let's jump back to after finding out that my husband lost his job. So I send the text message out or whatever. And I talked to my dad for just a little bit. No, I called my mother first and she didn't pick up. So I sent a text message and 3 days goes by, right? And after these 3 days goes by, I she calls me and I'm thinking my parents are busy as well. Like they do a lot of things, whether it's for church, whether it's for the family business, with us having a music school, and with their own personal things. Like, they're retired, they're empty nesters, like they travel, they do all these things. So I think the first call that I thought she was making was to like check on me, right? Like, oh, maybe she missed a text message and now she's getting back to me because I was stressed. I was very stressed about what we were going to do as a family. And the first thing that we talked about was her frustrations about something else or whatever. And she just kept talking and talking and talking, and then she was just scooted off the phone. I'm just telling you what built up to me having this hysterical moment. And then she was like, all right, I gotta go. Bye. And like kind of really just hung up on me. And I was like, that didn't feel good. That's not right. So I called her back the next day and I was like, Mom, I I messaged you. I think I sent her a voice memo too. I messaged you telling you that, hey, Khalif lost his job. We don't know what we're gonna do. Um, when you get a chance, give me a call back or whatever. And I told her, I was like, you went 3 whole days without like checking on me. It's like, I'm your kid. Like, I know I'm an adult, right? I know I'm an adult, but I'm your kid. And that's all I kept saying is like, I'm your kid. You should be concerned about me and my family and my kids and things like that. And like if we're not doing well, they're not doing well. And I say it was dismissive, her response. And she was like, well, Alicia, you guys normally just figure it out. And it's like, I remember it brought me back to the moment in the hotel. And it's like, I, I was like, Mom, I've come to the conclusion that if that is your response, you genuinely don't care about me. I was like, when people are going through things and you can't even take the time, like I didn't have to tell you that we were in that situation. Like, really think about it. Have you ever, I'm talking to you, viewer, have you ever been in a situation and you reached out to someone and you're saying, like, hey, I'm dealing with something difficult, and then they just didn't even bother? Right? Bother to reach back out to you, or, the generic, okay, well, I'm gonna keep you listed up in my prayers. Like those statements and those moments, they don't feel good as a person, because it's like you want people to show up for you. You want people, even if like I hadn't asked for anything, right? I hadn't asked for anything. I just asked her to call me back so I could just talk to her. Like I wanted to share what happened and tell her what happened to my husband. And it's like, how can I'm trying to ask her, like, well, how do I support him in this season? Because this is the first time he's gone through it. It's the first time I've been with him and he's gone through it. And it's like, it just was like, well, God's gonna take care of you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was not the best. I was not in my best moment. I just was like, I I was like, I've come to the conclusion after hearing your statement. Like she gave me reasons why she didn't text me back. She gave me, for me, it was excuses, but she, there's no words for it. The only thing I say is I'm coming to the conclusion that you genuinely don't care about me. Like I understand that you may not like me as a person, like because I had accepted that right years ago. It's like sometimes you just don't like me, and that's fine. But this is the first time where it's like, I'm telling you, I'm in danger. I'm telling you that I need help. I'm telling you that I need support, and not that you have to do anything at this moment. Like, there's no plan or nothing. All I wanted you to do was talk to me. And you could not even bother to do that. Bruh, it hit me so hard in the chest. I was like, you don't care about me. I didn't know that. I was like, I know that, and because I am the way that I am, I say what I said, and this is not her first time hearing it if she watches this. But it's like I told her, I was like, I've always known that you don't really like me. I was like, but as your kid, I thought you still at least cared about me. And I was like, and that hurts. It hurts. It hurts to know that I could have been in a crisis, and I'm in a crisis right now, and you couldn't even respond. Like I didn't get a thumbs up. I didn't get a reply. Like being left on red by your mama. Like that's rude. And then the next time you talk to me, you're talking to me about stuff that like for me it doesn't matter. You're just talking about, I don't want to say nonsense because that's what matters to her. I'll say that it wasn't a crisis. It was just, for me, it just was, this is stuff you just fuss about because you just, like my comparison to it, because I don't want to disclose what was she talked about, but it's on the same page as, I'm so sick of my husband leaving his underwear on the floor. Like how insignificant it was to me in that moment. And it's like you bypass what I was going through to run off this stuff. I'm trying to be respectful and not cut you off and things like that. But and then you just kind of just hung up the call, and it's like, I'm not in a good place to talk to you right now. I'm gonna call you back tomorrow. And when I did, it was not good. It was not good. And to say that to her, And I told her, I was like, that hurts me. I said, we're dealing with something so serious, and my own mother couldn't give me the time of day. Couldn't give me a little care. Like, you could have called me and prayed with me because it's so heavy. I couldn't pray for myself. And this is right before the conference too. I still had things that I was doing, and I'm trying to stay positive, and I'm feeling the weight of it. I'm feeling grief because it's like how, like, just trying to navigate all these different moving parts and almost feeling numb. And it's like I just needed somebody to be present with me. And I when I said that, I was like, I was prepared to say what I had to say and go sit down somewhere. So I said it. I was like, Mom, I was like, look, I've come to the conclusion you just genuinely don't care about me. You don't care about my family. And I was like, it hurt me. It hurts me to come to that conclusion because I care about you and I love you. And I thought we were better than this because this doesn't just impact myself, this impacts my children. And this is my first time with kids dealing with this type of pressure. Like, the times before when we were going through it, we were like newlyweds, or I was just starting out, like living on my own and struggling, trying to find a balance between being, like when you first start adulting, like learning to run a household, it is challenging. Like, especially when nobody teaches you how to do it. You pray you make enough. You pray, you pray you got everything you need. And then it's like learning how to budget on, like, it's like, it was a struggle that I had to learn because I wasn't prepared for it, or I wasn't taught on how to do that. I think the overall grand scheme, I know my dad was that once I finished college, I would just move back into the house, and then I'd get married from the house and then have somebody else take care of me. But that's not the way my life was set up. And I was like, this is different. Like, I can't be, it hits different when you have kids and you feel like you can't provide for them. Like, it hits different. And I think what I wanted was for my mom to have a level of empathy and remind me that I'm going to be okay, and that they were there for us. Like, something encouraging to that degree. And like, my dad was no different. I'm gonna be honest with you, he was no different. Like, I told him that, he just was like, okay, okay. The way that they treat me sometimes is like, well, we want to be invited in. And I think sometimes they don't recognize me telling them things is the invite. And I told them that too. I was like, if I don't want you included, I don't tell you. I just go about my day. Like, I just go about my life. Things are fine. Like, and then I just check in on you. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. This and this and that and that. And then it's like when things slowly start to get better, then I go, hey, we got a progress report, this and this and that and that. I was like, but like when things go left really fast, I try to tell people as soon as possible. So then I have more time to make a decision. And sometimes I do need people to weigh in on my situation. I do need people to help me. So at the end of this, at the end of this conversation, um, it goes another left. And she tells me that I hurt her. And she tells me that I hurt her. Now, when I was having my women's conference, it was the same week. Now, my parents are in Augusta. My It was the same week that my parents' church was doing a women's conference. Theirs was from Wednesday. There was Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Mine was Friday and Saturday. That's when mine was, right? She made a statement about, like, she was upset that I would hold a conference at the same time that she's holding one. And That wasn't true. I had announced my conference way before they solidified a date for theirs because when I announced mine, they had they were doing the men's version of that same conference after I announced the dates for mine. And this is not about like the chicken come before the egg, like it's not that, but it's like this can't be what hurt you. Like that's really what for me it was like this can't be the thing that hurt you. Like if she would have said it hurt me to hear you say that, I'd have been like, okay. You know, like I know that's because it is heavy. It is heavy to hear your kids say that you don't care about them. Like that's a heavy thing for someone to confess and then be on the receiving end of it. But that is not somebody said she deflected, which is true. But in the midst of it, I lost it. I was like, no way. You gonna sit here and tell me that you're hurt by me for planning my conference the same weekend or the week of your conference. I said, we are in two different cities. I did all their graphics for their conference, both of them, both of them, okay, both of them, okay. Put the country on it, both of them, and I did I've been running the my parents' church social media for the last 5 years. I've been doing their graphics. Like there's some things that their team was doing, but a lot of them work full time. And because I was doing my church's stuff, I was also doing theirs. So it was just easier. And then I had access, so I was posting it. I'm trying to help, I'm trying to help my parents' ministry as much as possible. But I'm like, I done put a help them put a, a girls boot camp graphics together. I done made shirts for them all within this time. Like I'm doing all these extra things to help you do what you're trying to do. And I told her, I was like, that can't be true. I said, Mom, you are a co-pastor of a ministry. You have people, you have volunteers to do what you're doing. And the only thing I asked was for you guys to give me everything that you needed before August. And I was like, you guys are still asking of things of me like 2 weeks prior to your conference. Like you're asking me for a QR code. You're asking me how the vendor does this. And you're still like I wanted my goal was from August until the conference to just focus on the conference. Like if anything before August, I'm willing to help you. Anything after it, no, you're on your own. And this was communicated prior. So it's not like you're unaware that this was the expectation. You're very much aware. But when she said that, y'all, I ain't gonna lie, the little child in me reared up and I started yelling. I would say that's probably the one thing that I'm too stubborn to apologize for. I'm too stubborn to apologize for it because it's like you don't care that I was yelling. You just didn't want to. From me, my perspective, you didn't. It's like you just didn't want to be at fault. You didn't want to admit that I was right about what I said, and that it was easier to deflect to. Well, I'm mad at you too, like a kid. It's like, and it's like I always, people always quote me the scripture about like children honor your mother and father. But they never get to the next scripture where it's like parents don't provoke your children to wrath. And that's where I was living at. Y'all ain't gonna lie. I was so heated and I yelled at her because I was like, this is not it. It's like I'm being pulled in so many different directions, trying to help you from afar to do things, and I don't feel appreciated, and I don't feel like you care about me as a person. And my mom is very big with my kids. Like she probably calls to FaceTime time them multiple times out the week. Like and they know who she is. Like she loves her grandkids. Like she's an amazing grandma. Like Nana is the best, right? She is the best. But I will say this. I was like, how can you say that you care about me and my family and you couldn't even call me back? Like such a small thing. When I tell you I she hung up on me, which she had every right to do. I'm like, I won't take that from her. Like I had lost it. I had lost it. Like I could have kept my cool and be like, okay, mom, well, you have a good day. Like I could have easily did that, but I lost it. And I was yelling and screaming at her, and I was like, you're saying that because you don't care about me. It's like, how dare you? Like, how dare you, mother, say these things and I'm doing this for you and this and this and this and this and this in the midst of everything that I got going on. Like I was like, I lost it. It is what it is. I lost it. Now, my mom hung up on me, and even with the hurt feelings that happened, right? Like even her, even her saying that, whether it was to get underneath my skin or just to go to, distract me from what I was really trying to say, because, emotions are not big with my parents, right? I promise you, I was done with her that day. I was like, you don't have to worry about me no more. You don't have to worry about me no more. I blocked her on everything. I left the family group chat. I left everything. 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 Because mind you, you guys know what I was dealing with. Y'all know I was grieving the loss of leaving of deciding that I had to not go back to my church. The pressures of putting out because I still was putting out episodes of the podcast. I was still preparing for the actual conference and all the moving parts of that. I'm dealing with this situation, this underlying issue with my pastors. I'm trying to put out the book and then still be a mom, still be a wife. Like that's like I'm still doing those things while still running a media ministry, while still trying to co-lead with another ministry. I had two other ministries outside of my local church. I was mentoring one, and they were in South Carolina, and then I was doing my parents' church as well, like helping them improve what they were doing when it comes to social media management and their online streaming. And it's like I'm carrying all of this, and you hit me with a wow, you hurt my feelings too, bruh. I lost it. But after that, I blocked her. I blocked her on everything. I was like, you are not a healthy, safe person for me right now. Because if my kid, from my perspective, and I know that my mom is not me and I do things differently, but from my perspective, if my kid told me that they felt like I didn't care about them, I would be crushed. I would be crushed. I would be like, why, like asking like why, and then I would apologize, like whether I was right or wrong, because it's like for me an apology, it doesn't cost me anything. I would rather have the relationship. Like some people who are afraid to apologize, y'all need to get over that. Just apologize, man. Like I didn't do nothing wrong. Even if you didn't do anything wrong, sometimes if you can just apologize and be like, man, I'm sorry, man. I was like, I disagree, but I apologize that, it ended up like this. Like hopefully we can get back on the same page. Like you could say stuff like that. And when you're ready, I'm ready to really talk about it. And you'd be surprised how many people come back and be like, you know what? I was wrong, bruh. I thought about what I said, like how I was in my feelings that day, but I was wrong. So, I apologize to you. That like I've learned that an apology really costs nothing. It opens the door for healing for a lot of people. So if you're stuck on being, I'm right and you're wrong, 9 times out of 10, you're just gonna be mad for a long time. But back to me blocking my mom. I'm thankful to them because they both were like trying to understand me as a person in this. And it's not that like I'm the only one that might have an issue with their parents. Like it's just you evolve, like it just happens. But when I tell you that she, my sisters were just like, I hate this is happening. It's like you only get one mom, and I think that y'all should talk this out. And I was like, if you're not for me right now in this season of my life where I'm going through this much chaos, I don't need to talk to you. And I think that is where I was. It wasn't like a denouncement of like, that's no longer my mother. Like, or like, I think I was so fragile and I was so broken, and I think that's wisdom. Sometimes we give people access to us, even though they are loved ones and family members and like coworkers and church members, like just whatever, we still give people access. But it's like where I was so distraught. Oh, I didn't need to be around anybody who was going to possibly say anything to disturb me emotionally. My house was like, you got to understand the climate of your home. You got to understand the climate of your mind. You got to understand the climate of the people that are around you. And it's like being sensitive, like, how they say be sensitive in the spirit. And it's like, I understand that you are my mom, but you are not a safe person for me right now, because I've been calm with everything else that had been happening, been calm the entire time. And for me to have that type of reaction, because I don't do that. Like, I might talk loud, as y'all probably know, but I don't do the extra. Like, I don't do the extra, because I'd be like, and I'm done with that. If you got a problem with me and you can't talk clearly, because we good. We good. You ain't got to worry about that. And I'd be like, I'm not wasting my energy on that. But I was like, I felt like in that moment, I got pulled out of my own character, or I let myself go. And it's like, I just was not in a safe place. And I was dealing with so much strife. And it's like, it just didn't feel good. It wasn't right. And I just was hurting. So I blocked her. And it wasn't just her. I think she was the catalyst in me deciding to block stuff. Like, I'll just be honest, I blocked my pastors. I blocked people at the church who just wanted gossip, but they really, like, they let me know that they weren't for me. I blocked some people who only bring in negativity. Like, it was just a constant, well, I don't know if you do that. And I don't know. And there's some people who don't even know that they're blocked. Like, I just went through my phone and I blocked a bunch of people. And some folks, it was more like, if I'm on the other end hoping that they would call to check on me, and like I was hoping that they would call and check on me, but then I came to the realization that they never do. I blocked them too. I was like, I've been very vocal about what's going on with me in my life. And if you call me sis, and if you say I'm your friend, and if you say that I've been there for you, and you say that you care about me, you love me, and you know what's going on. Like, I'm not saying that you know all the details or whatever, but if you can't even send me hey, I'm just checking on you. Like, I saw your post, because I was sharing on TikTok too. I was like, I saw your post and I just wanted to check on you. Like, when I realized, because like I think before I really started just blocking a bunch of people, I think I waited about like a month. Like, my whole church knew that we were moving, and I know who reached out to me within that first week to check on us. I know who called me that second week, and I know who called me that third week. By that fourth week, if I didn't get and there's some people I done helped, okay? I was like, never again. You ain't gotta worry about me. And they are blocked. And they still blocked. And it's not because I don't like them. I do like them. And I wish them well. But I think to guard my own heart and protect my mind, it was like I felt like I was waiting for a text that would never come. And then because I was waiting on it, like my mom, it was like ruminating. Like it, when you ferment something, right? Normally you put yeast in it, and as the yeast churns and grows, it expands and it gets to a place where you just burst. Like if the seal is not tight enough, if it's not strong enough to withhold the pressure, it'll burst and it'll just release everything that you've been dealing with. That's technically how you make alcohol and beer, and wine and stuff like that. Like there's an agent that makes it ferment, and then as time goes on, it ferments, and then the container that it's in, it begins to stretch, and it begins to build up pressure. But that container has to be strong enough to withhold the pressure. And I was at a point where I could not control. I wasn't strong enough. And I didn't want to be flipping out on everybody. I think that was the other thing. I didn't want to be flipping out on I'm just being honest. I didn't want to flip out on everybody. And I'm like, you know how sometimes like you start going on a like one thing triggers everything else. I felt that's what it was because I was angry. I was angry. I was angry that I was showing up for somebody that I love so much. And it felt like it was nothing. And it was coming from multiple people. And it's like it just was too much. It was too much. And I could not handle it. I'm just gonna be honest. I could not handle it. But I will say this. I say all of that to say this. Me and my mother are talking again. Um, I think I went about 8 months, no contact. And I mean a strong 8 months, no contact. It was what was it? It really was my dad who really wanted me and my mom to fix that thing, like to fix whatever was going on. I still feel some kind of way. I'm not gonna lie. But um it was my dad bringing my mom here. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, my dad was mad at me. My dad was upset because the way he found out that me and my mom weren't talking, I don't know what she told her husband. That's her husband. But she, I think she just mentioned it, or no, well, the way he told it to me was that he realized that my parents are retired. So during the daytime, there is just the two of them. He was like, I ain't heard you talk to the kids in a minute. Cause like she called often to talk to them, to speak to them. And he was like, something ain't right. I don't know what it is, but something ain't right. And the only thing I could tell, I told him, he was like, your mom ain't talked to the kids in a while. Like, what's going on? And I was like, me and mom had a falling out. And right now I'm content. That's all I told him. Right now I'm content with what we got going on. And I said, and she won't talk to them. I was like, and there might be somebody out there who's like, well, you can't make her, you can't, you know, keep her from spending time with the kids. That was my dad's thought as well. And I was like, I can't have somebody around my kids that don't care about their well-being because they don't care about me. Because that's how I took that situation. It's like I'm telling you that we could potentially be distraught, homeless, and then you didn't even want to call to see if the kids were good. Like you didn't even call. Like that is how heavy that situation was for me. And he was like, "You're being ridiculous." Like that was the first one. And I was like, "Okay." Second time he called, and he was like, "Look now, this." He's like, "This about 3 weeks now. This about 3 weeks. How long you gonna do this for?" I was like, "Until I am satisfied." I promise you, I had my feet 10 toes down. firm foundation. I was not backing down because I was not in a safe place to be talking to somebody who I felt like didn't care about me. And it's like, and then on top of that, the kids, only Alea was at the house. My daughter was at the house. My son was at school. So it's like, you're calling and there's no kids here. So you're not available and the kids asleep. So nope. And my dad, I'm gonna share this because I want y'all to know how mad how parents get sometimes. He got so mad one time. He was like, "I'm gonna take her out of my will." He didn't say it to me. He said it to somebody else. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I told it, but I think it's funny. He's not gonna watch this. It's fine. But he, he was mad. He was mad that I was like real adamant about like not letting her see them and me not calling. And it's like, even when I would talk to him, it's like, it just needs to be on the phone, like no FaceTime. Like, I'll be like, yes, sir. And he'd be like, when's the last time you talked to your mom? I was like, Dad, I advise that you're putting yourself in a situation and you don't understand what happened. So, because I love you enough to tell you, mind your business in the most polite way possible. I said, me and mom will figure this out, but just not today. And I think something clicked, and I think he understood. I like without telling me because his conversations changed after that time. He and it allowed him to call me more often because it was like the realization is that he don't call me, he don't check on me, he don't see about me, and it's just because like he's not that kind of dad, he just don't do that. Like, and he's very very busy. He does a lot of things all the time or whatever. And when I tell you guys, I think it was after the holidays. Yeah, it was after the holidays. My dad was like, "Hey, we're coming up from Florida, and are you guys home? Because we want to see you guys." And I was like, this was the first invite. Like, people still block now. This was the first invite or attempt in trying to reconnect. And they did come by the house. We really didn't talk, we didn't talk about the situation. I let her engage with the kids at the time. And, she said something towards it, like, and I, I think that was like the moment where it was like, okay, I'm done like being like angry about this situation. I'm done with being angry about it. And so I think right now we have a like it's no ill will, and it's I don't have any strong feelings about her as a person and stuff like that. I'm still in a place of healing. I'm still in a place of releasing some things. Like, it's a gradual process. But I do allow her to speak to the kids. I do um let her FaceTime them and stuff like that, because it's like I do want them to have a better experience with grandparents than I did. Since we moved so much in the military, we we didn't get to spend as much time with my grandparents and things like that. And it's like I was the kid that wanted to grow up with all their cousins and other family members and things like that. So that's something that I want for my kids, to the best of their ability, of our ability. But things have gotten better. Now, I tell you all of this, right? I'm telling you all of this not because I'm picking on my mama. I want to make sure I say that. But I want to remind somebody that you can also be in a place of transformation. Because that's really the season I was in. I was in a season of transformation. It felt like being like, I felt like I was a butterfly in a cocoon. I'm really ready to come out of it, but there's a storm that is all around it. And it's like, I can't let anybody else in. I can't let anybody else disturb what is this evolution that's happening in me. I have to protect this at all costs. My peace, my mind, my energy. Like I have to protect it because I don't have anything else to give to anyone else. Like where I was at a deficit. And it's like sometimes you have to pull away from people. Sometimes you have to create space. Sometimes you have to say no. Sometimes you have to disregard other people's feelings to speak the truth about what's happening to you and what your experience is. I heard like a therapist say they were tired of hearing the phrase like my feelings matter too and your feelings should matter and things like that. But I could get why because that's an actual professional in that. And I'm just a board certified Christian counselor. I'm not a therapist, psychologist, a social worker, or psychiatrist. Like I don't do like the qualifications. I don't have any of those qualifications. But I will say this: when you are sharing your feelings with somebody that you should be on an intimate level with, and you're sharing your experience and you're sharing your feelings and you're sharing your journey with them, and there's an expectation for them to show up for you and they don't, it's hurtful. It's hurtful. And the feelings that you have behind it is disappointment. There's other words that I could say, but like it was just I was so disappointed. Like I know going forward you can't be a lifeline for me. I know going forward that unless it's good news, you don't want to hear about it. I know going forward like and that's not just for her, it's for some other people as well. Like being aware of that, the weight of it is heavy. And there's some of you that are watching right now that have experienced that. That heaviness of just being so disappointed, you almost don't want to try again. You almost want to stay in your house, you want to stay in your room, you want to stay away from people and never come back out again. And I think that's where I was in these last few months. I was like, I'm not doing nothing for anybody ever again. And I'm thankful that even when I felt like that, the Lord was still finding ways to minister to me. I went to the foundation conference, somebody ministered to me and prayed over me. I felt motherly love at that conference. I had friends that constantly checked on me. I had my sisters encouraging me to keep the door open, even though I shut it. I had my class, it was one class we were talking about anger. And I think that's when I realized how angry I was. I, at the end of it, Dr. Sellers always asks if we need prayer or anything like that. And I was like, I do. And it's like you want to say what it's for, and it's like I just couldn't speak it because it hurt so bad. Like I could not speak to why I needed prayer. It just hurt too bad. So I didn't. And it just was a mess. It was a mess. Like I cried. Like we stayed on the in the class for an extra 30 minutes. And guess what? Like one person prayed, but every all of my classmates, they stayed on the line with me and praying. And I was thankful for that because I needed somebody to do that because in all of the chaos, nobody wanted to pray over me. In all of my serving and all of what I was doing, nobody wanted to pray over me. I had one person, God bless her. I'm gonna shout her out, Pastor Adrian Duncan. I love her. She has been an amazing big sis through that process of just encouraging me and checking on me and making sure I'm well. And I was just grateful that I had that connection as well. And it's like, it was tough. And you might be going through something tough as well. But I want to tell you, just like my sister said to me, don't close the door. Don't close the door. Don't tape it shut. Don't nail it shut. Don't barricade the door. Like keep the door cracked so that you can come out of it. I think it's okay to be in a season of protecting yourself, especially after you've gone through a difficult situation. But don't close the door shut to every possibility, to everyone. Like keep keep it open so that someone will knock on it and be like, hey, I'm just checking on you. Like, I want to encourage somebody who's dealing with the weight of being disappointed. And know that it gets better. Like, me changing how I evaluate my relationships with people was necessary because I was running myself ragged, trying to show up for people that would not show up for myself. And it's not that it's to give to get, but if I have to sacrifice all of me to show up for you, this is not a good situation. And I think that is what I've learned from that. And if I can't fall apart with you, then you're not my safe place, then I need to reevaluate this relationship. I need to reevaluate how I move with you and around you. And it's a healthy thing to do. So I want to encourage you to do that as well. I don't know who's listening, I don't know who's watching, but even in that, God was still with me. He sent me the right people to minister to me. He sent me the right people to love on me and to pray over me and to encourage me and to just, even if the people who came at that time only came once, it was exactly what I needed in that moment. I had my Uncle Brooks, he's in a whole nother state and he's been watching my stories on TikTok and he called me yesterday and he just was encouraging me to keep going, to keep doing this. And it's like, you'd be surprised who God will use. And it's like, I don't see him that often, but it's like, it's somebody's watching. And I got a friend all the way out in California and he may watch this and I love him so much. And we were just talking about, setting boundaries with your family. And it's like, it's because I was sharing my stuff. And it's like, I know that there's a purpose in what I'm doing. And I want to encourage you once you release it, once you release the pain, the hurt, the disappointment, I promise you, you'll start to feel lighter. I know I do. I'm still in the thick of it. Like, I'm on the better half of it. I just, like, even right now, doing this is very, very helpful to me because I haven't said anything publicly because I don't want someone to think that my mom is a terrible person because she's not. I know she's not. And I love her. I love her. I just know that in that moment, she was not the safest person for me. And she might not be a safe person for me going forward. I know that now. So that helps me. But I want to encourage you to keep asking God to reveal to you who needs to be a part of your inner court, who needs to be involved in what you're doing, whether it's a business, a vision, your dreams, like your career choices, who to talk to at work, like what kind of friends you should have. If you're trying to get married, like God, send me, you know, guide me in who to look for and not just and like really have my heart's desire, like really diving into things like that. So I want to encourage you to do that as well. But I want to pray for you. I didn't pray last week, but I'm going to pray for you today. Father God, in the name of Jesus, we just say thank you for the opportunity to talk about hard things, to be able to talk about moments where we're disappointed in the loved ones and the community that we're in. And sometimes even you, God, like we may feel like I'm just disappointed that you didn't show up for me the way that I needed you to. You didn't protect me the way that I wanted. You didn't give me the things that I had asked for. And it's like trusting the process that you're still in the midst of all of it, in the chaos, in the fear, and the doubts. Like you're still present with us. And we're not alone. Thank you for reminding me that I wasn't alone in the midst of it and that you were still available and accessible. And even when I doubted you in your presence, you never left me. Thank you for the people that you're going to send to encourage and uplift the people that are watching this. I pray that their hearts are made whole again. Those things that are hindering them from trusting people and trying new things and going out, the ones who have closed the door and barricaded themselves in, I want to call you out in the name of Jesus to be your best self, to show up for who you are supposed to be, who God would want you to be. Because we are not meant to live life alone. We are meant to be in community. And I know that grief shows up in different ways, whether it's you lost a loved one or you lost the idea of who that loved one should be in your life. God, help us heal. Continue to minister to us, mind, body, and spirit. And let us always feel your presence. God, we welcome you in. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen, you guys. I hope that me being transparent about my relationship with my mother and where it's going, I hope it blesses you. And I'm gonna keep you guys updated because like this is an evolving situation. You know, it hasn't even been a year since that blow up. But I do want to say thank you. Thank you guys for your continued support. Of course, we have our Wild Preachers Kids shop. It is open. Make sure you check out what we got in stock. And this just helps me do what I'm doing. And so that I can do this full time, of course. But I really, really hope this blesses somebody. I know there's someone out there who is trying to navigate this thing and just really want somebody to pour into them. I pray that this blessed you and refilled your cup and reminded you that you're not alone. If nothing else, you're not alone. And you can recover. You can recover from this. That moment, that disappointment, it was not the end. There's more. There is more. If you failed, I feel that in my spirit as well. If you failed and you're like, I'll never try that again, I want to encourage you to try again. Pick up your bed and walk. Pick up your bed and walk because there's more in store for you. Just ask God to guide you in which direction to go in and who to partner with. You guys, that's it. That's all I got for you today. I can't wait for next week. Woo. And I can't wait to see you guys again. Remember, we're here Sunday, starting at 7 a.m. You can watch it on YouTube or whatever podcast streaming service that you have. If you are from another country, please leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know where you're watching from. I do stream this on multiple podcast platforms. And I can see where you guys are. Like, I see who's listening in, who's watching, but I would love to, like, if you left a message on YouTube, if you're watching or listening to the podcast on your preferred channel, if you could go to YouTube and say, hey, I'm watching or listening from this country, I would love that. I know I get a lot of people from Asia, Africa, and a couple of European countries have were listening before. So if you do, please let me know that you're a part of the family and be my church cousin and be my faith cousin. That's what, like, what if you don't know this, if you're not a church member, you almost call, we were taught or raised, I don't know if they still do this, but we were taught to, you almost called anybody at church, if they didn't have a formal official title, like a minister or pastor or anything like that, what you would do is you would call them auntie and uncle. Like we call a lot of people auntie and a lot of people uncle, and it's just because we went to church with them, we played with their kids and stuff like that. So, if you are a wild pre-K, or a church kid like myself, or you haven't been to church in a while and you're interested in going back, find you a church home, man. I'm gonna tell you that too. But you are officially a faith cousin. So, um, I appreciate you. I thank you, and I can't wait to see you next week. As we end every episode, keep going and keep being wild for God.